In this guest lecture. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our great guest speaker today, that is Dr. Jaya Chawla ma'am. She'll be enlightening us with the webinar on relevance of scientific management in recent times. This is a field where we should all be deeply interested in because only theoretical knowledge is not enough sometimes. Our speaker is a dynamic personality. She is currently posted as assistant professor in Government Mahamaya College, Ratanpur from 7 years, and she got qualified via PGPSC 2009 exam. She has pursued her graduation, that is BCom, from Kolkata University and her post-graduation from Delhi University. She has also graced many international and national conferences with her gracious presence. Now, let us start with the main webinar. I invite Jaya ma'am to take the lead. Welcome, ma'am.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay. Thank you, Sunita ma'am, for such kind words. It's a great pleasure on my behalf to be present here at the LCIT College of Commerce and Science. I want to give my sincere thanks to Dr. Piyush Kant Pandey, Director, Dr. Archana Shukla ma'am, Principal, Mr. Abhinav Paul, Dean Administration and Student Affairs, and I would also like to give my gratitude to the convener of today's program, Mr. Sheikh Adil and Mrs. Kiran Kaur Rana, the coordinators, Ms. Sunita Saket and Mr. Dheeraj Jha. And most of all, I would like to convey my thanks to all the dear students who are present here. As I have been informed that today I am addressing not only the students of UG level, but here I am addressing the students of PG classes also. So it's a nice experience on my part to be present here addressing all the students from different levels. As you all know, my dear students, that today is National Youth Day, and you are the ones who are representing the youth. So it's a wonderful experience on my behalf today to be present here with all the youth and addressing you with regard to the concept of management, which has been not only very important and dominating in the classical time, but it is also relevant in the present times. You see, whenever we experience or whenever we go through any syllabus or our subject, generally we limit ourselves to the knowledge which is there in the books. But bookish knowledge will not make us intelligent or knowledgeable. What we want is not just degrees, we want knowledge. And for this, we have to relate our theoretical concepts with our practical experiences. So today, it's a humble effort on my part to just show you or just relate the scientific management in how it is relevant in the present times. So for this, I would like to share my screen. Just give me some time. I want to share my screen. Huh. Is my screen visible to all of you? Is my screen visible? Okay. So, just a small and question I wanted to put was, do you recognize this face? Do you recognize this face? The one which is in front of you? If yes, then it's nice. But if no, then let us move forward. You see, this person whose face you can see here is Frederick Winslow Taylor. Frederick Winslow Taylor, or whom we know as F.W. Taylor, he is the person who is regarded as the leading proponent of scientific management. As you all know, that he is also one of the first management consultants. The concept of scientific management has been propounded by Frederick Winslow Taylor. He has given the strategies to determine how best a certain job can be performed in an organization. You see, this concept has been prevalent not only in the classical time, but it is also relevant in the present time. Because every manager or every entrepreneur, he wants to know how best a certain job can be done in an organization in order to achieve profitability, in order to achieve success, and in order to go grow and develop. So, how these activities can be determined, how a particular job can be confined to a very high level. Such strategies were given by Frederick Winslow Taylor. He was the person who has given the management thought, which is primarily concerned with the physical efficiency of an individual worker. You see, when we work, every person, not only the people who are working in factories or in companies or in a particular, you can say, building of roads or constructing of dams, they are not only the workers. Every person, even you and I, we are also workers. So individually, when we are behaving as a worker, that means when we are performing any job, at that time what is necessary? When we are performing a job, we want that we should be physically efficient, because until and unless we are physically efficient, we cannot perform a job wonderfully. So, the most important thing in order to achieve success is to maintain or to improve the physical efficiency of the worker. And Frederick Winslow Taylor, through his concept of scientific management, he has brought about such strategies which will not only define the jobs, but it will also improve the efficiency of the workers. So, my dear students, the topic which I have chosen today to discuss with you is relevance of scientific management in recent times. I am Dr. Jaya Chawla, and today we will deal with this topic. So, let us continue. Now, the first thing that comes to our mind is, what is scientific management? You know, scientific management, as the term, you must have all of you must have heard about it. And we all know that Frederick Winslow Taylor is the father of scientific management, and he's the one who has given the concept in his book, which was published in 1911, as Principles of Scientific Management. But what actually is scientific management? You see, the purpose my purpose of discussing this topic today is not to teach you what scientific management is. I'm not here to teach you. I'm here just to talk with you about what is the inherent concept which is imbibed in this scientific management. साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट के अंतर्गत क्या ऐसी बातें हैं जो हमने आज तक पढ़ी तो लेकिन समझी नहीं. So that is what I want to discuss here. What is there in scientific management which we all have learned, which we all know, but still we have ignored it. We have not noticed those key points which was mentioned by F.W. Taylor. So you see, scientific management is defined as the art of knowing exactly what you want your men to do and then seeing that it is done in the best possible manner. So, what does this mean? You see, this concept means that, first of all, scientific management is an art. When I say that anything, any concept, when I talk about any concept and I say that it is an art, what does that mean? You see, it means that when I say that scientific management is an art, it means that it has got two qualities. You see, dancing is an art, painting is an art, drawing is an art, singing is an art, even cooking is an art. So what are these? Art means any knowledge which is present in us either from our childhood. Some people are born managers, some people are born dancers, some people are born singers. They don't need any systematic training, but they can still sing, they can still dance. But further improvement is required, further training is required. Similarly, scientific management is also an art. People like Frederick Winslow Taylor, he has given this concept of scientific management. That means it is his brainchild. This concept was developed in his mind. So that means that it was within him right from his childhood, through his experiences, through his various interactions with people. You know, when he was appointed in Midwell Steel Company, at that time he was appointed as a gang boss. So when he was appointed as a gang boss, what he did was that he tried to um, compel the people within him, under him, that means those who were working under him, he used to compel them to work hard, to produce more. So what happened, it created discontentment amongst his employees. So, what happened when you are compelling people to work hard, to produce more, to do as I want? So, without listening to them, you're just compelling them. So, what that will do? That thing will create resentment. So, similarly, in Midwell Steel Company, when F.W. Taylor was working as a gang boss, at that time he was compelling people. No doubt the results were good. That means the production was very high, but there was discontentment. People did not like him. The workers were resenting him. The workers were not liking him, and this thing was not liked by F.W. Taylor. He thought that no doubt I am getting good results, I am getting good production, but ultimately what is happening, that there is no good relation. The relation between the boss and the subordinates was disturbed. This was not liked by him. He said that no, I don't want such a thing. So then he was so this experience which he got it, you see, F.W. Taylor was not a person who had not done any mistake. People never do mistakes. Good, you can say that great people or great person, they have never made any mistake. It is not that, but it is just that they learn from their mistakes. When you commit a mistake, students, it is not bad, it is good. Do lots of work, go on working and go on making mistakes. Making of mistake is not a crime, but if you are not learning from your mistake, then it is a crime. So similarly, Taylor also committed a mistake by compelling his subordinates to work hard and to produce more, and then he realized that no, this is not the kind of work that I want. I want that people should work hard, people should produce more, people should be more efficient, but then the relation between the boss and the subordinate should also be harmonious. So, for that, he devised this scientific management tool. He said that scientific management is an art. That means it can be learned with gradual practice. If you go on practicing, if you go on learning, if you go under certain training, you can learn this art. You can learn the art of scientific management. As you can see that here you have got some the people who are persuading MBA. So they are going through management studies. So it is not, some of them might be very good managers by birth, but some of you might be like you are going through this process and then you are learning the concepts of management. So management can be learned, it can be acquired. It is an art, it is a skill which you can acquire if you go on working on it and you go on studying it. So scientific management is also an art. And what that art says, that art says that first of all you have to find out what you want your men to do. That means what you want your subordinates to do. That means the task should be defined. You just can't go on saying vaguely that you have to produce more, you have to produce more, you have to work hard. No. First of all, you have to tell them that, see, I want 10 units of output today. That means you are setting a standard, you are setting a standard task. So once you set the task, then you know what you want your men to do, and then seeing that it is done in the best possible manner. That means that next you have to see that when the task is defined, once you have defined the task, then you have to see that the job is now done in the best possible manner. That means there can be several ways of doing a particular thing. Like when you are going from your suppose you are going out from your home and you are going to the college. So there are many routes from which through which you can go to the college. But then what you do, you try to find out the best route, the route which is most convenient, the route in which you get less time, and the route in which is very safe. So similarly, even in production, you see, production can be done by several ways. There are many ways in which a particular task can be done. But then scientific management aims at finding out that which way or which manner the task should be performed so that we can get the best results. So scientific management is an art which defines task. That means it sets the standard task, and it also shows the way how you can perform that particular task. Next, it is also, you can define scientific management as it is the art of knowing exactly what is to be done and the best way of doing it. So every person, all your workers, they now know exactly what is to be done. They know what we have to do, because if there is ambiguity, if there is ambiguity in the task, if the people don't know what exactly they have to do, then excuse me. Okay. Okay, fine. So then the task has to be, every person should know what exactly the task is, and then they have to know which is the best way of doing it. So then we can say that scientific management is nothing but application of science to management. As you all know, you must have learned that management is both an art as well as a science. So here you see application of science to management. That means that you have to apply scientific methods. That means you have to be very systematic, you have to be orderly. What is science? Science actually is a logical, systematic, and orderly way of doing certain things. So when you do management in a scientific way, it means that you are doing it in an orderly manner, in a systematic manner, and in a predefined, standardized manner. So this is the meaning of scientific management. Now you see why this concept of scientific management came in the minds of Frederick Winslow Taylor. Like you all know that when Newton discovered the law of gravitation, we all say that an apple fell from the tree, and looking at that, he thought that why everything falls from falls to the ground, why everything falls to the ground, why things don't just fly like that. So this thought was the reason why Newton discovered the law of gravitation. Similarly, scientific management, this concept came into the minds of Frederick Winslow Taylor due to certain things which happened in his career. While he was working in the Midwell Steel Company, at that time he was facing various types of adversities. He could see that there are certain shortcomings, there are certain lacunae in the performance of the managers. So looking at those lacuna and looking at those shortcomings, he thought of certain concept of management which eventually emerged as scientific management. First thing which he noticed was that there was no clear cut worker management responsibilities. Like as you have all seen that the when he was working in the Midwell Steel Company, at that time he saw that the managers and workers, they are the two most important you can say the two most important parties in a particular organization. So the responsibility should be properly divided amongst them. But generally, what happened at that time when this concept was not discovered, at that time he saw that the worker and management responsibilities were not clearly defined. The worker did not know what they had to perform. The managers, they also were not very clear about their responsibilities. So ambiguity and uncertainty was prevalent in the organizations. And when you see, when there is so much of ambiguity and people don't know what they have to do, at that time the results don't come out good. See, if I ask you to do certain thing, and if I tell you that you have to go from point A to point B, so you will move from point A to point B. But if I say you that you have to start from point A and go forward, so then what will happen? Some people will go to point B, some people will go to point C, some people will go to point D, some people will just move two legs, two steps forward and then come back. So ambiguity, people don't know what they have to do. So when people don't know what they have to do, then what happens, that there is no clear defined responsibilities, and then the results don't come out as we want. So this was one bad thing which was prevalent, and which was noticed by F.W. Taylor. Next was that there was lack of work standards for effective control. You see that whenever we want that certain thing should be performed in the best manner, then what we do, we set up standards. Standards means that what? Standards mean that you have, you know that I have to reach this level. Like when you appear for your exams, at that time what happens, when you appear for the exams, you know that passing mark is 33. If I get even 1 marks, even half mark less than 33, then I will fail. So this is what, this is your standard. And if you want to achieve first division marks, you have to achieve 60%, and then 70%, 80%. So these are the standards which have been predetermined, which are already set. So when you know the standards, then you work according to it in order to achieve those standards. But just imagine, if I ask you to appear for an exam and I say that there is no passing mark, there is no failing marks, there is nothing like that, you just have to appear for the exam, then there will not be any initiative, there will not be any sort of motivation under you. Some people will work hard, some people will not work, because there is nothing like that. Even if I work hard and I get 80 marks, then also I am passed, and the person who is not even appearing for the exam, that person will also pass. So then what will happen, that efficiency will not be there. So there was lack of standards for effective control. Since there was no standards at that time, people never used to set any standards, so control was not there. Then the incentives was not given to efficient workers. As I was already mentioning to you, that when I work very hard, isn't it, when you work very hard, then what do you want? Like if you have worked for say 7 hours continuously, you were studying very hard, and your friend was not studying, and that your friend was just watching TV, and after say 7 hours, if your parents come and they say that, wow, you are a very good person, you have worked so hard, and you are such a nice student, so then this gives you incentive. Incentive means motivation. People who are working hard, people who are doing something better than the rest, they should be motivated, they should be given some incentive, then only they will work hard. But such type of incentives were not present, so there was no demarcation between efficient and inefficient. Even those who are efficient, they were also getting the same payment or remuneration, and those who were not efficient, they were also getting the same remuneration. So then incentive was not there for the efficient workers. Most of the decisions which was taken by the management was based on their intuitions and past experiences. You see, now when we talk about decision making, you must have read about this chapter. Decision making means what? Looking into the future, decide apprehending the futures, deciding upon what will happen in the future, that you are thinking about at present. So forecasting, looking into the future, thinking about the future, that is decision making. But at that time, what was happening? Decisions were based on intuitions and past experiences. What has happened in the past? Not any scientific study was made for the purpose of decision making. Then there was not flow concept of work was also not there. That means that when you do any particular task, there is a flow. Like if even if you are cooking, then what happens, that first of all you have to cut the vegetables. That just imagine, the first you take out the vegetables from the refrigerator, then you wash it, clean it properly, then you cut them into pieces. Then what happens, then you prepare the what gravy and everything. So it is a process, it goes on from one thing to another. If you are making a say, if you want to manufacture a shirt, then what happens, that first you have to take cotton, then cotton is then converted into what, threads, then threads are converted into yarns, है ना? And then they are woven, they converted into cloth, cloth is then cut and then stitched, and then shirt is. So this is a flow. So this flow means what, that it should move from one to another in a proper and systematic manner. But previously what happened, that there was no proper flow of work. That means a lot of time was wasted in between. From one process, moving from one process to another was not very smooth. It was, you can say that it was obstructed in between. So that led to lot of wastage, not only in material but also in time. So both time was being wasted, material was being wasted, and results were not up to the mark. And then most important thing, or you can say the peril, or the most you can say it was a blunder which was being committed, was that right man was not to the right job. It means what do you mean by right man? You see, right man means that every job, once you establish an organization, there are various types of job which are present there, and every person cannot perform every job. You see, like I may be a good teacher, but I may not be a very good cook. I may be a very good singer, but I may not be a very good dancer. I may be a very good you can say I can write very good script, but I may not be a good orator. So every person has got certain weaknesses and certain strengths. So when a job is there, then the manager's role is to find the right man for the job. Suppose I can write very good, writing part I can do very well, but when it comes to standing on the stage and speaking, then I'm very nervous and I cannot speak. So then what will happen if my manager asks me to just make a presentation in front of the clients? The customers are here, and just you make a presentation, so everything will be spoiled. Why? Because I can make good presentations, but I cannot give good presentations. So right man is not given the right job. So you can just imagine, beta, what will happen, right man not to the right job, it means that what, that the thing, the purpose with which you are performing will not be achieved. So these were the things which FW Taylor noticed, that these are certain shortcomings, these are the lacuna which are being prevalent, and for this he thought that no, I cannot just move on with such backdrops. I have to move forward and design certain new concept. So he started upon, and he decided that one more important backdrop was that there was antagonistic interest of management and workers. That means the managers thought that workers are idle, they're lazy, they don't want to work, and they have to be punished all the time, they have to be forced and compelled to work. So that was the concept of managers. And what workers thought, workers were thinking that managers, they don't have anything, they just keep on giving us orders, and all the benefit, all the profit that we earn, that is taken by the managers. So there was harmonious relation was not there, there was not cooperation. Both of them had got antagonistic interest, and this is very bad for any organization. You see, any organization will fail to develop properly if the managers and workers don't go hand in hand. So all these due to all these reasons, Frederick Winslow Taylor, he came up with a new concept of management, which was known as the scientific management. Now, you see, what are the key points in scientific management? When we discuss this, then we can understand that how it is relevant and how it is still applicable in our present times. The first thing is that he said science, not rule of thumb. You see, we had been talking about rule of thumb. That means the decisions were made on the basis of various intuitions, past experiences, and that the when the managers that took any decision, they never consulted the workers. They never thought that what the implication would be on the workers. You see, when I am deciding that the production of the particular department should be in such a way, then it means that not only the manager but even the workers are getting influenced with that decision. The decision of the managers is affecting the entire organization, so they have to make decisions which is scientifically and systematically uh, decided. But what they used to do, they used to make rule of thumb. That means only upon the past experiences and upon the intuitions they were making decisions. What Frederick Winslow Taylor said, that it should be science. That means it should be systematic, not rule of thumb. Harmony, not discord. That means harmonious relation, not discord. Discord means what? That everybody is moving in their own line, everybody is moving in their own direction, nobody is thinking about the others. But it should not be so. It should be harmonious. Everybody should think about the others and perform in a collective manner. That is why he said that there should be cooperation, not individualism. Cooperation, not individualism, means what? That there should people should not think about themselves. I think you all must have watched Chuck Day movie. I'm sure everybody must have watched Chuck Day movie. uh, चक दे मूवी में आप लोगों ने देखा था ना, व्हाट द ट्रेनर है ना, द कोच, व्हाट ही यूज्ड टू से, दैट फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू हैव टू प्ले फॉर द country, then you have to play for your team, and then if you are left with any energy, then you play for yourself. So it means that individualism, me, myself, don't think about that. You have to perform in a cooperated manner. So that was a very important key point in scientific management, which says cooperation, not individualism. Then maximum output in place of restricted output. Maximum output means what? That you see, every person has got a maximum limit. Like if I can study for say maximum I can study for say 14 hours in a day. But what I do, I generally study for just say 6 to 7 hours. So I'm wasting that much of my energy, I'm wasting that much of my capability, you can say. So everybody, even in the factories, you can see that when the people are working, then they have got the capacity to work more, give more output, but they are not giving that output. That is called as restricted output. So people should not aim at restricted output, people should aim at maximum output. And development of each man to his greatest efficiency. Each man means not here just not male and female, that man I'm not mentioning here. Man means a worker. So every worker should be developed to his greatest efficiency. Efficiency should be maximum. That means everybody, whatever the efficiency he has, whatever the capability that person has, that capability should be fully utilized. Full utilization of the capacities should be there, so that maximum output can be achieved. Now, what should be the role of managers? In scientific management, you see, there are various, the role of managers has been changed. As you can see in the backdrop, when we were mentioning that the managers' attitude towards production, towards their workers, towards the organization was not up to the mark. So, Frederick Winslow Taylor, he has defined certain role of managers. And you see, these role of managers we can observe presently in the current time. First is defining the task which the worker is to perform. So this is the most important role of the manager, that he has to define the task, what every person has to perform. Every person, when they come to an organization to perform, they should know what they have to do. So what who is the person who will tell them what you have to do? That is the manager. So manager has to predetermine before the worker comes to the job for performing. Before that, the manager has to determine what job that person will do. And when he enters the organization, immediately that person should be informed that today you are going to do this job. So defining the task, this is one most important thing. Then scientific selection, training and development of the workers for the job. You see, nowadays in various not only in the private sectors, even in government sector, we can see that when you are applying for a particular job, what happens that there is a scientific selection. Scientific selection means that when you appear for the exams, right, some of the vacancies, they ask for written exams, so that gives your that is a test of your mental capability. Then the interviews in which we appear, that gives a that is a test of your psychological capabilities. So these are all scientific methods of selection. A person who crosses all these hurdles, that person is considered as an efficient worker and the right man for the right job, which I was mentioning. So this is that. So there is scientific selection, and then after selection, further you can say polishing of that person is required. Like you are good for a particular job, but you have to be oriented about the job. That means you have to be make you people have to make know about the job, है ना? They have to uh, introduce you to the job. Like I have been selected for teaching, suppose I am appointed in a particular place. So after I am appointed, then what happens, then I have to be introduced to the students and make known that how I have to teach. I may be a very good student, but I may not be a very good teacher. So for that, I need training and development purpose. So this is the role of managers, that once they select any particular person scientifically, then they have to train also. They have to train and develop them. And then division of work. Division of work is very important, as you all know. Like when we go to even if you go to a tailor, you see, when they are stitching any garment, suppose they are stitching a shirt, then what happens, one person will cut the shirt, the entire piece, one person will cut, the other person will stitch, then the third person will just put the buttons, and then the fourth person will iron it. So there is division of work. When there is division of work, then what happens, that every person does his job most efficiently, because they know that I have to do this particular job. So they will put their entire focus, entire concentration on that particular job, and they will not you can say they will not encroach the other person's job. So in this way, every person knows what they have to do, they are trained, they are properly selected, and there is division of work. And then motivating, this is very important, the role of managers. You see, a good manager is that person who motivates their employees. And motivates means that they have to give them certain incentives. I am not talking about only financial incentives, it can be non financial also. Like if you have worked very hard the entire day, and if your manager comes and just gives a pat on your back, oh wow, तुमने बहुत अच्छा किया, आप तो सबसे बेहतर हैं, आपका काम बहुत अच्छा है, just this thing, इट विल गिव यू अ लॉट ऑफ एनर्जी. थक गए हैं आप, सारा दिन काम कर करके थक गए हैं, लेकिन जस्ट एक पैट आपके बैक में आकर कोई कर दे और बोले कि वाह भाई आपने तो बहुत अच्छा काम किया, फिर से ताकत आ जाती है, हम और अच्छा करेंगे. सो व्हाई इज this is motivation. So role of managers is to motivate the employees, and then they will give high level of performance. I'm not saying that सबको सिर्फ pat at the back ही चाहिए, किसी को money भी चाहिए होता है. Some of the people they want financial incentives also. तो वो फिर हम अलग एक टॉपिक हो जाता है पूरा का पूरा मोटिवेशन पे, जिस पर वी कैन टॉक. लाइक देयर कैन बी वेरियस इंसेंटिव्स, दे कैन बी फाइनेंशियल, दे कैन बी नॉन फाइनेंशियल. तो जो भी इंसेंटिव्स, वॉट एवर इंसेंटिव इज रिक्वायर्ड, वो करके हमको मोटिवेट करना है. वी हैव टू मोटिवेट आवर एम्प्लॉयज. एंड देन ओवरऑल मेंटल रेवोल्यूशन. मेंटल रेवोल्यूशन का मतलब होता है दैट full change in the mindset of the managers. What was happening, you see, हमने पहले अभी just बात की थी that the managers, they were thinking they had antagonistic ideas. They were just against the workers. They thought that workers are lazy, workers don't want to work, the workers are they have to be forced, compelled. कैरेट एंड स्टिक अप्रोच आप लोगों ने पढ़ा होगा. कैरेट एंड स्टिक मतलब क्या, या तो उन्हें मार मार के काम कराओ या उन्हें लालच दे दे के काम कराओ, अदरवाइज दे वोंट वर्क. But that was not true. Frederick Winslow Taylor said that it is not always true. All workers are not like that. So mental revolution is required. Managers have to change their mindset. They have to think that no, workers are also human beings, and they are also people who can do good job even without beating them or even without compelling them. So this mental revolution has to be brought. Scientific management aims at bringing about this mental revolution also. Now you see, to achieve these the entire concept है ना, जो साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट में जो एम किया गया, जो चाहा गया कि ये करना है, उसको करने के लिए क्या क्या टेक्निक्स लगाई गई, और वो टेक्निक्स देखो हम आज भी फॉलो करते हैं. दैट इज वाई मैंने जो टॉपिक कहा है रेलेवेंस, रेलेवेंस मतलब ये आज भी रेलेवेंट है, आज भी ये सार्थक है. ये टेक्निक्स क्या क्या हैं, इन टेक्निक्स को हम वन बाय वन वी विल डील विद देम वन बाय वन. हियर यू कैन सी देम ऑन द स्क्रीन, आपको स्क्रीन में नजर आ रहा होगा. सो विल जस्ट मूव फॉरवर्ड एंड विल डिस्कस अबाउट देम वन बाय वन. We'll discuss this under contribution of Taylor. You see, Taylor has said that improved efficiency and loyalty of workers due to scientific selection. What he said was that first thing is that you have to select the workers scientifically. Scientific selection का मतलब होता है that when you are recruiting people, at the time of recruitment and selection of the people, you have to see that the workers are fit for that particular job. You see, this is very important, that when you are selecting the workers, that workers capabilities, that workers inclination. Suppose suppose I have advertised for an vacancy, there is a job vacancy, and many people have come there. Some people, they want to do that work just because they have got an inclination, they have got the capability. For example, I'll just give you an example, like suppose there's a teaching post in a college. So for that teaching post, most important thing is what, that you have to fulfill your educational qualifications criteria. Like if you are required with a PG, then you have to have PG, and then you have to do some B.Ed or M.Ed, whatever. So whatever the eligibility qualification, if that is being satisfied, so then first 10 candidates are there who have fulfilled the educational qualifications. Then next, what that means, that they are all capable, they are all capable, they have got the capability, they have got the ability. Now then, what happens, you must have I think many of you must have tried in various private schools also for teaching. There what happens, like if you have got the sufficient degrees and everything, and you are present there, then what they do, they ask you to teach in the class. When they ask you to teach in the class, what happens, what they are testing, अरे हमारे पास तो एजुकेशनल क्वालिफिकेशन है ना, आपने कहा था ग्रेजुएट, आई एम अ ग्रेजुएट, देन व्हाई आर यू आस्किंग मी टू टीच इन द क्लास, एंड व्हाई आर यू सिटिंग हियर एंड noticing? This is because they want to see that whether you are the right man for the right job. So this is what, this is Taylor's scientific management, है ना. So what we are seeing today everywhere, you will, I will just give you small this type of examples I will keep giving you, which will just noticing them, you can understand that how relevant Taylor's scientific management is even to this date. Taylor is from classical school of management. You see, टेलर जो है ये क्लासिकल स्कूल ऑफ मैनेजमेंट के हैं, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है कि उनके कॉन्सेप्ट जो है वो आज रेलेवेंट नहीं है. हर जगह, एवरीवेयर एवरीवेयर यू सी टेलर्स साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट, you can notice. So what Taylor said that what I was dealing with, yes. So then what happens, that when you are teaching in the class, then there can be two types of teachers. One who is just teaching in order to get that particular job, and there can be some people who are teaching just because they like the students, they like to teach, they regard teaching as a very noble profession. So that means that they have got an inclination. So when I am saying that, and for a particular job, people need to have abilities, people need to have capabilities, people need to have aptitude, and people need to have inclination also. So then if that person is selected for a particular job, then naturally there would be improved efficiency and loyalty. आप ऐसा एक एग्जांपल लो ना कि एक स्टूडेंट है, सपोज एक कैंडिडेट है, आप में से ही अपने आप में से किसी को भी आप सोच सकते हैं दैट यू आर अ कैंडिडेट और आप कहीं पर एक जॉब के लिए जा रहे हैं, बैंक में मुझे काम करना है, आई वांट कि मेरा बचपन का सपना है कि मैं बैंक में काम करूं, और मुझे बैंक में जॉब का मौका मिल जाता है। जब मैं बैंक में जॉब करने के लिए जाती हूँ, मैंने सारे टेस्ट क्वालिफाई कर लिए, और जब जॉब मुझे मिल गई सपोज, तो आप कैसा वर्क करोगे? जान लगा दोगे। वाई? क्योंकि आपको वो जॉब पसंद थी, आपका सपना था वो, इसलिए आप उसको बहुत अच्छे से करेंगे। दैट मीन्स देर वुड बी इम्प्रूव्ड एफिशिएंसी एंड लॉयल्टी। वहीं पर सोचिए कि आपको ऐसा जॉब मिल जाता है जिसके लिए आप एलिजिबल तो हो, आपको नौकरी करनी है, घर पे बहुत पापा मम्मी पीछे पड़े हैं नौकरी करो नौकरी करो, तो आपने अप्लाई कर दिया, आपका सिलेक्शन हो गया, आपने टेस्ट भी क्वालिफाई कर लिए, एंड देन यू आर देयर फॉर द जॉब। फिर कैसे करोगे जॉब? बस करना है इसलिए करेंगे, घड़ी देख देख कर करेंगे, अरे इतना टाइम हो गया, छुट्टी होने में कितनी देर बाकी है अभी, ओह लंच टाइम हुआ कि नहीं। सो दिस इज वॉट, इस तरह से हम काम करते हैं। सो वाई दिस हैपन्स? बिकॉज देर इज नो इंक्लिनेशन। दैट मीन्स यू आर नॉट द राइट मैन फॉर द राइट जॉब अकॉर्डिंग टू टेलर। टेलर ने कहा कि ऐसा व्यक्ति जो है वो राइट मैन टू द राइट जॉब नहीं है। तो साइंटिफिक सिलेक्शन करना है। साइंटिफिक सिलेक्शन में हमें क्या क्या देखना है? वी हैव टू सी दैट द पर्सन हैज गुड capabilities, that person has got proper aptitude, and that person has got inclination for that particular job. अगर ऐसे person को आप select करेंगे तो naturally there will be improved efficiency and loyalty. आपको देखने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, फिर उसको उसके ऊपर नजर रखने की जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि वो अपने दिल से काम कर रहा है। Next, analyzing the work. That means finding one best way to do it. That I have already explained, that every work needs to be analyzed. Analyzed means that you have to observe that work. When you observe that work, then you find what is the best way of doing it. That means there are several ways of doing that particular job, but which will be the best way? Best way means that which will give you maximum results with minimum of efforts, है ना? सो दैट इज द बेस्ट वे ऑफ डूइंग इट। इसका भी मैं आपको एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल दे के बताती हूँ। यू सी दैट सपोज यू वांट टू स्टडी, आपका कोई एक सब्जेक्ट है जिसको आप कंप्लीट करना चाहते हो, तो हाउ यू डू? आप उस सब्जेक्ट को लेते हो, खोल के देखते हो, अच्छा कितना चैप्टर है, कितना सिलेबस है, कितना टाइम है मेरे पास। सो व्हाट यू आर डूइंग? यू आर नोट फाइंडिंग आउट द जॉब टू बी डन, द टाइम दैट इज रिक्वायर्ड। तो आप सब जगह से अपने लिए स्टैंडर्ड्स बनाते हो, इतने टाइम में इतने चैप्टर मैं इतने दिन में कंप्लीट कर लूंगी। So then you find out the best way of doing it. So that means what? That you are making all these studies साइंटिफिकली, आपने इसको साइंटिफिकली किया। मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम व्हाट हैपेंस, यू सी स्टूडेंट्स, कि हम लोग बहुत सारे काम साइंटिफिकली करते हैं, बहुत सारे काम लॉजिक के साथ करते हैं। व्हाट इज साइंस? साइंस का मतलब वो एक्सपेरिमेंट्स करना और इस ट्यूब से उस ट्यूब में केमिकल्स मिलाना, दैट इज नॉट ओनली साइंस, है ना? हम साइंस सिर्फ उसी से अगर समझते हैं तो वी आर रॉन्ग। साइंस मीन्स लॉजिकल एंड सिस्टमैटिक अप्रोच। एनी वर्क विच यू आर डूइंग विद अ लॉजिकल एंड सिस्टमैटिक अप्रोच, दैट इज साइंस। तो साइंस हर जगह है, एवरीवेयर। जैसे मैनेजमेंट जो है, मैनेजमेंट इज अ यूनिवर्सल थिंग, सिमिलरली साइंस इज ऑल्सो अ यूनिवर्सल थिंग। तो जब आप साइंटिफिकली व्हेन यू आर एनालाइजिंग योर वर्क एंड देन फाइंडिंग द बेस्ट वे ऑफ डूइंग इट, देन दिस इज गिवन बाय, दिस इज अ गुड कंट्रीब्यूशन बाय टेलर। टेलर ने एक बहुत अच्छा कॉन्सेप्ट दिया, पता है, जिसको हम कहते हैं सोल्जरिंग। सोल्जरिंग का मतलब क्या होता है? दिस इज यू नो, ये कॉन्सेप्ट आज भी बहुत ज्यादा रेलेवेंट है, एंड आई विल एक्सप्लेन यू हाउ। सोल्जरिंग का मतलब होता है व्हेन द पीपल आर पर्पसली ऑपरेटिंग वेल बिलो देयर कैपेसिटी। It means what? That I have the capacity to say produce 100 units, but I am not producing 100 units. I am doing only less than 100, say 80 or 70, purposely. Intentionally I am doing it. That means intentionally I am limiting my capacity. That is soldiering. And Taylor said that this is very harmful for any organization. देखो, इनएफिशिएंट होना अलग चीज होती है। अगर आप इनएफिशिएंट हैं, देन पीपल कैन रिकॉग्नाइज यू, आपको देख के जान जाएंगे ये इनएफिशिएंट है, एंड दे कैन रिमूव यू। बट यू आर एफिशिएंट, आप एफिशिएंट हैं, आपके अंदर पूरी कैपेसिटी है, लेकिन आप जानबूझ के काम नहीं कर रहे हैं, इंटेंशनली इफ यू आर लिमिटिंग योर कैपेसिटी, देन दैट इज वेरी हार्मफुल टू एनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। और इस कॉन्सेप्ट को टेलर ने रिकॉग्नाइज किया। मैं एक एग्जांपल से आपको बता रही हूँ ये क्यों होता है, ये हम आगे बात करेंगे। what happens is that suppose just imagine that there are two people, Mr. A and Mr. B. Mr. A wants both are employed in any soap making industry, है ना, कोई साबुन की फैक्ट्री में दोनों काम करते हैं, फैक्ट्री नहीं, हम इसको ले लेते हैं कि ये सेलिंग में काम करते हैं, सोप सेलिंग। मिस्टर ए और मिस्टर बी दो लोग हैं, बोथ आर सेलिंग सोप एंड बोथ आर गिवन 10,000 पर मंथ, दोनों को 10,000 रुपए पर मंथ मिलता है। नाउ दोनों के दोनों बाजार गए और सामान बेचना शुरू किया। मिस्टर बी जो है वो बड़े लेजी है ना, ही जस्ट गोज आउट ऑफ द ऑफिस, और जाके ऑफिस से निकल के वो कभी कहीं बैठ के चाय पी रहे हैं, कहीं बैठ के बातें कर रहे हैं, थोड़ा देर घर पे भी आ गए घूम फिर के, खाना वाना खा के, एंड अल्टीमेटली शाम को घर आए, ऑफिस आए और आके उन्होंने कहा दैट एक ही साबुन बिका सारा दिन में, साबुन नहीं बिका। मिस्टर बी इज लाइक दैट। मिस्टर ए is very sincere, very efficient and he is very dominating and very convincing, उनके अंदर convincing power है। वो अगर चाहें तो सारे दिन भर में वो कम से कम 10 सोप बेच सकते हैं। तो मिस्टर ए ने पहले दिन 10 सोप बेचा, मिस्टर बी ने सिर्फ एक सोप बेचा। दोनों वापस आए और वापस आने के बाद दे रिपोर्टेड और मैनेजर ने कहा ठीक है जाइए। इसी तरह से पूरा महीना काम हो गया। देन व्हाट हैपेंड एट द एंड ऑफ द मंथ, मिस्टर ए को भी 10,000 मिल गया, मिस्टर बी को भी 10,000 मिल गया। अब मिस्टर ए ने क्या किया, नाउ मिस्टर ए इज अडॉप्टिंग सोल्जरिंग। मिस्टर ए ने कहा अरे इतना काम करके भी 10,000 और उसने कुछ नहीं किया फिर भी 10,000, आई विल ऑल्सो नॉट वर्क। और मिस्टर ए ने भी काम करना बंद कर दिया। नाउ व्हाट हैपेंस, नाउ यू सी द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज फेसिंग प्रॉब्लम। इसका इफेक्ट क्या हो रहा है, मिस्टर ए को कोई नुकसान नहीं हुआ, मिस्टर ए को 10,000 के 10,000 ही मिल रहे हैं, मिस्टर बी को भी मिल रहे हैं, उन दोनों के घर आराम से चल रहे हैं। लेकिन बिजनेस का क्या हुआ, मिस्टर जो ए जैसा एक एफिशिएंट बिजनेस, मिस्टर एफिशिएंट पर्सन को द बिजनेस हैज लॉस्ट, बिजनेस को बहुत बड़ा लॉस हुआ क्योंकि मिस्टर ए जैसा एक एफिशिएंट वर्कर उन्होंने खो दिया। व्हाई, ओनली बिकॉज ऑफ दिस सोल्जरिंग। तो अब आपको सोल्जरिंग का कॉन्सेप्ट समझ में आया कि जब पीपल पर्पसली ऑपरेट वेल बिलो देयर कैपेसिटी, दिस इज सोल्जरिंग। And why this happens? Because first thing, there is no standard task for standard time. टास्क और टाइम दोनों डिटरमाइन करना जरूरी है, मतलब इतना काम आपको इतने समय में करना चाहिए। दैट मीन्स सेटिंग ऑफ टारगेट्स। आजकल होता है ना, आप लोगों ने देखा होगा दैट इन एवरी प्लेस, इवन इन बैंक्स, यू विल फाइंड दैट पीपल आर गिवन टारगेट्स। आपको सैलरी इतनी मिलेगी प्लस आपका ये टारगेट रहेगा। इफ यू अचीव द टारगेट देन यू आर देयर इन द जॉब, इफ यू डोंट अचीव द टारगेट यू आर जस्ट fired from the job. So this is the contribution of Taylor, that he said that there should be determination of standard task for stipulated time. Time, motion and fatigue study. You see what is time, motion and fatigue study? Unnecessary movements नहीं होने चाहिए of hands and limbs, है ना। motion study का मतलब क्या हो रहा है, that when you are working at that time you have to work with full vigor. यहाँ वहां जस्ट घूम रहे हैं, लग रहा है कि बहुत काम कर रहे हैं पर किया कुछ नहीं, दैट इज वेस्टेज ऑफ एनर्जी, आपने अपना समय बर्बाद किया। मोशन स्टडी सेज दैट उतना ही मूवमेंट होना चाहिए जितने में काम होता है। हर मूवमेंट में आपकी प्रोडक्टिविटी आनी चाहिए। आप अगर बेकार मूव कर रहे हैं तो वो आपका क्या है, प्रोडक्टिविटी नहीं दे रहा है। लाइक इफ आई एम स्टडिंग, आई एम सिटिंग विद अ बुक, सारा दिन बुक लेकर बैठा रहे तो वो पढ़ाई हुई क्या, नहीं। लेकिन आपको पढ़ना है ऐसे कि आप, योर मोशन शुड गिव प्रोडक्टिविटी। सो व्हेन योर मोशन गिव्स प्रोडक्टिविटी देन इट मीन्स दैट you are contributing towards production. Fatigue study says what? You see, fatigue study says that continuous work, if you are given a job and you are asked to do it continuously, then you will not be able to achieve good results. You have to take rest in between, intervals होने चाहिए। ये टेलर ने कहा कि हर काम के लिए कितना मूवमेंट करना है ये पता होना चाहिए है, कितने समय में करना है वो पता होना चाहिए, और बीच बीच में इंटरवल्स या रेस्ट मिलने चाहिए हैं। तो ये बहुत अच्छी चीज, देखो आजकल जितने भी प्राइवेट जॉब्स हैं, आप उन प्राइवेट जॉब्स में ये देखोगे दैट पीपल आर गिवन ये टाइम, मोशन एंड फटीग स्टडी का कॉन्सेप्ट इज देयर। Private jobs में what they do, they make you work for a stipulated time, that you have to work for this much time, you have to achieve the target in this time. Then they say that unnecessary movements are not made, everything is in the cubicles are made. In that cubicle they have got their computers, they have got the printers, they have got intercoms, so you just move from one place to another. हर एक ऑर्डर के लिए आप उठ के जाने के आने में बहुत टाइम वेस्ट होता है, उतना टाइम बच जाता है, यू जस्ट सिट देयर, इंटरकॉम में आप बात करिए, वहीं से आप अपना काम करिए. सो दिस इज मोशन स्टडी एंड फटीग स्टडी. लाइक प्राइवेट कंपनीज में आपने देखा होगा, बहुत सारी एमएनसीज में भी आपने देखा होगा, वहां पर क्या होता है, फटीग स्टडी की वजह से ही what they do is that they have given the entertainment is made. People are asked to sit back for some time. वहाँ पर योगा के लिए एक रूम होता है जहाँ पर एम्प्लॉयज कंटिन्यूसली काम करके अगर थक गए तो दे जस्ट गो रिलैक्स फॉर सम टाइम. So they go for yoga. Then there are swimming pools, they can go there. There are play areas where they can go and play for some time. So what is this? It is not that जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है वो उनके लेजर के लिए या उनको खुश करने के लिए कर रही है, ऐसा नहीं है, उनसे ज्यादा प्रोडक्टिविटी लेने के लिए कर रही है. बिकॉज इफ दे आर उनको थोड़ा सा बीच में रेस्ट मिलेगा, उनको थोड़ा सा एंटरटेनमेंट मिलेगा, तो वो फिर से फ्रेश हो जाएंगे एंड देन दे विल अगेन वर्क विथ मोर विगर, मोर एनर्जी. सो दिस इज द कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ टेलर. ये जो हम आजकल देख रहे हैं ये सब कुछ टेलर की ही देन है, उन्हीं के साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट के आधार पे ये सारी चीजें हो रही हैं. Taylor also said that there should be intimate and friendly cooperation between the management and the workers. Workers and management should have cordial relation. Good relation should be between them. आप लोगों ने again I am talking about various private sector organizations. You can see there that the managers and the workers, they sit in one floor, and sometimes they even sit in one place, and in some certain organizations you will see that they have their lunch together. So why is this? This is just to make the relation between them very cordial and friendly. Then planning function is separated from doing function. This is what we see today. Like you have seen, we talk about the levels of management. हम levels of management की बात करते हैं ना, top level, middle level, then lower level managers. What is that? Planning is with the upper level managers. The top level managers, they do the planning work. They are not bothered about how the things will be implemented. They just think, sit back, and they make the planning. That means their whole focus, their whole concentration is on planning. Then the middle managers, they take the decisions from them and they hand it over to the lower level managers. And what the lower level managers do, they see that the things are properly implemented. So the people who are performing, they are not the ones who are planning, and the people who are planning, they are not the ones who are performing. So everybody, so here you see there is division of work, which we have been talking about in the past. So there is division of work, and there is the responsibility is upon the particular person, that the managers know that we have to plan and the workers know that we have to implement. So here you see that there is a specialization and there is proper division of work also. Then functional foremanship instead of line authority. That means every person should have immediate boss. That immediate boss will order them and give them the decisions that have to be work, and accordingly they will perform. इसको आप एक एग्जांपल से मैं इसको भी समझाती हूँ आप लोगों को. Just you see that you have got many subjects and you have got many teachers also. So every teacher will teach you a certain thing. Like your accounting teacher will teach you certain accounting, then the manager teacher will teach you management, then auditing teacher will teach you auditing. So there's all the subjects you have, and there have got so many teachers also. There is no one person who's teaching everything. You just imagine if there is one person teaching everything, then what will happen? Jack of what you say, that jack of all trades and master of none, that will happen. So best result will come when a particular person or a worker is instructed by a specialist or an expert. So when every expert will instruct, that particular person, then the person will be able to work in a much better way. So you will be able to know, or you will be able to gather good knowledge and appear for your exams in a better manner if you got many teachers, and all the teachers are expert in their subjects and they are teaching you accordingly. So this is another contribution of Taylor. Then this was one important thing which he did, was he established a system of rewards for meeting the goals. That means that he said that you have a person who is achieving goal should be given certain rewards. If he is not rewarded, then he will not be in a position to work efficiently. Like I was giving you the example of Mr. A and Mr. B, you remember? So what happened, that Mr. B was not working well, and even then he was getting 10,000. Mr. A was working very efficiently, even then he was getting 10,000. So then he adopted soldiering. That is why good thing is what, that Mr. A should be given certain incentives, he should be given certain rewards. When he is given certain rewards for meeting the goals, naturally then he will work very good, and he will be an efficient worker, which will even benefit the organization. And then equal importance to both human and non-human aspects, like for example, like if you are in a production house, then you have to give equal importance to the workers as well as to your machines also. Machines should be properly well maintained, material should be properly and adequately supplied on time. Worker is very efficient, but he's not getting the supplies, he's not getting the raw materials in time, then how will that worker perform? Or if the machine is not working properly, then how will that person perform? So equal importance has to be given by the managers to both the human and non-human aspects. You see, like every good thing has got a you can say a bad mark also. Similarly, scientific management was also criticized, it is only dedicated to production management, and that it is separating planning and doing, and that management the some people have also criticized scientific management, saying that why the managers will only plan and workers only do, why workers cannot be allowed to participate in the management, why this is not there, then why there is a lack of uniformity in the action, like one person is instructed by so many people. So that person will get confused, and how that person will know that what I have to do. Then labor unions also oppose the concept, saying that here only the workers are keeping on performing, and that you are setting up standards for the workers, you are setting the time for the workers. And so labor unions also were opposing the thing. And most important, that the entire concept of scientific management is very it is very expensive, because you have to conduct time study, motion study, fatigue study, and all these studies, they entail a lot of expenditure. So these were the certain criticisms which were made. But and that equitable sharing of profits is also not there, that workers are working very hard, they are leading to lot of profit, but they are not getting proper share. But these things have all been you see that with the passing of time, you can see that still no doubt scientific management is a classical approach, but still it is relevant. And this proves that all the criticisms that were made are they don't hold any logic, and that they are just outdated, and they are just a resistance to change. Like whenever any existing thing changes, people resist to it. Whenever you introduce any new concept, or whenever you introduce any new thing, people resist to it. So that was just those criticisms are actually just a resistance to the change. But eventually scientific management has emerged out very successfully, and it is relevant even in the present time. Like you see, at present, the inflationary conditions which are existing in our country, India is still a developing country, and it is facing a lot of inflationary conditions. So this can be mitigated, or it can be reduced only with increased production. If we increase the production, only then we can bring down the prices. And for increasing this production, scientific management is relevant. Then for raising the employment level and the standard of living, like you see, what scientific management has done, scientific management has made the workers very efficient. The workers are working hard, they are contributing more towards the productivity, and when they are contributing more towards the productivity, naturally they are getting more remuneration and more incentives. So that will give them high standard of living, and that will also provide them, when we are increasing the level of production, the employment level will also increase. So for developing countries, especially like India, this concept of scientific management is very relevant. And then it is has also led to intensification. Intensification means intensive or maximum utilization of the any resource. Like I was talking about human resource, like soldiering was what, that people had the capacity to work more, but they were limiting themselves. So when you avoid soldiering, it means that what you are doing, you are intensifying means that you are uh, making maximum utilization of the particular person. A worker has got a lot of capacity to work, and that capacity you are gaining by intensifying. Then modernization of industries, like industries are being modernized, they are developing a lot due to the application of scientific management. And there is a harmonious industrial relation, because managers and workers, they are now together with each other. More incentives are being provided, because here the concept of scientific management has said that we have to give incentives and commissions, and that we can see even today, like in sales, especially sales में आप लोग देखते हैं ना कि incentives मिलते हैं, commissions मिलते हैं. ये क्यों मिलते हैं? To motivate them. और ये कहाँ से आया है? ये scientific management से ही ये concept आया है. आज हमारे human resource management में भी you can see that people are selected on the basis of scientific management. जो हमारा वर्क एनवायरनमेंट, मैंने अभी आपसे बात की थी कि इन एवरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन यू फाइंड दैट वर्कर्स के लिए हम प्ले एरियाज रखते हैं, वर्कर्स के लिए थोड़ा सा एंटरटेनमेंट की जगह रखते हैं, वर्कर्स के थोड़ा ट्रेनिंग के, ये सारा कॉन्सेप्ट साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट का ही कॉन्सेप्ट है. सो दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. So with this I will like to conclude here, and I'll say that people had been criticizing, no doubt, scientific management, saying that it is just for the प्रोडक्शन मैनेजमेंट से ही कंसर्न है, बट ऐसा नहीं है. ये डायनामिक कॉन्सेप्ट है. साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट के कॉन्सेप्ट को आप कहीं भी अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. सेल्स में आप अप्लाई कर सकते हैं, फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट में आप अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. यू कैन अप्लाई इट एवरीवेयर, एंड माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, you can apply it even to your life, even to your career, even to your studies, scientific management. So this is just this concept of scientific management technique is practically, it is the beginning of the development of modern techniques of management. Just imagine 1911 में ये concept फ्रेडरिक विंस्लो टेलर सर ने हमें दिया, और आज भी ये कॉन्सेप्ट रेलेवेंट है, आज भी ये कॉन्सेप्ट प्रैक्टिकेबल है, आज भी ये कॉन्सेप्ट हम हर जगह देख रहे हैं. सो जस्ट इमेजिन कि उस समय ये जो कॉन्सेप्ट आया, ये आज की मॉडर्न टेक्निक्स ऑफ मैनेजमेंट के लिए आज भी रेलेवेंट है. So with this, अब आप I think you will recognize this face of Mr. Fredrick Winslow Taylor. Thank you all of you. Thank you, my dear students.
Thank you, Jaya ma'am, on behalf of LCITF College of Commerce and Science for such a stimulating speech. Your comments were very helpful and informative. I appreciate how you took your precious time out for this guest lecture and to enrich the lives of young students. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Kiran Kaur Rana ma'am.